In the beginning, there was only darkness. Not the gentle kind that comes with sleep, but the suffocating shadow that swallows hope whole. She wandered through it for years, the mage princess they once called her, though she'd forgotten even her own name. Her magic had turned cold, her silver hair tangled with thorns, her eyes, once bright as the full moon, now dim as dying embers. She didn't remember how she'd fallen, only that she had. The forest where she wandered was cursed, they said, a place where lost souls went to disappear. Trees twisted into grotesque shapes, their branches clawing at the perpetual twilight. No birds sang here, no flowers bloomed. It was a realm between worlds, where time moved differently, where memories dissolved like mist, but he found her anyway. Lord Kale, the Alpha Lord of the Northern Territories, bearer of the Crimson Mark, commander of the Wolf clans. His reputation preceded him like thunder before lightning, ruthless in battle, merciless to enemies, bound by honor to his pack. They said his eyes could see through lies, that his howl could shake mountains, that he'd never bowed to anyone, not even the ancient council of elders. Yet when he found her collapsed beneath a dying oak, something inside him shattered. She looked up at him with those haunted eyes, and for the first time in a century of living, Kale felt his heart remember how to break. She didn't speak, couldn't perhaps, but her hand reached out instinctively, not in fear, but in desperate, wordless hope, the gesture of someone who'd been drowning so long, they'd forgotten what air tasted like. He lifted her into his arms. She weighed almost nothing, this woman who radiated residual magic like heat from dying coals. Her skin was ice cold, her breathing shallow. Around her neck hung a pendant crescent moon carved from moonstone, cracked down the middle. "Who did this to you?" he whispered, though he expected no answer. But something in his voice, the genuine fury, the protective rage, made her lips move. One word emerged, barely audible. "Myself." The Alpha Lord carried her back to his stronghold, a fortress carved into the mountainside where waterfalls cascaded like silver ribbons, and the full moon seemed close enough to touch. His pack watched in silence as their lord, who'd never shown weakness, never brought anyone into his inner sanctuary, cradled this broken stranger as if she were made of starlight. My lord, his beta, Marcus, approached cautiously. "We don't know who she is." "What she is." She's under my protection now." Kale's voice left no room for argument. "Prepare the moon chamber. Call the healers. And tell no one beyond these walls that she's here." For weeks, she drifted in and out of consciousness. In her fevered dreams, fragments of her past surfaced like shattered glass, a castle of white stone, a sister's laughter, a teacher's stern but loving voice, a ceremony under the full moon where she'd been crowned guardian of the lunar veil. She'd been someone important once, someone powerful, and then she'd fallen in love with the wrong person. His name returned to her in nightmares, Prince Darien. Beautiful as dawn, charming as spring rain, and rotten to his core. He'd seduced her, used her magic to break ancient seals, stolen artifacts that kept the balance between light and dark. When she discovered his betrayal, he'd laughed and cursed at her with a spell that fed on her own power, turning her magic against herself until she'd fled into the cursed forest to die rather than become a weapon of destruction. When her eyes finally opened clearly, Kale was there. He sat beside her bed, a book of ancient poetry in his scarred hands. Moonlight streamed through the window, painting everything silver. He was reading aloud, something about hope being the thing with feathers, and his voice was nothing like she'd expected. Deep, yes, powerful, certainly, but also gentle, as if he understood what it meant to be broken. "You're awake," he said simply, closing the book. She tried to sit up, winced. Her body felt like it had been reconstructed from broken pieces. "How long?" 3 weeks. You've been fighting death the entire time. You're stubborn? There was approval in his voice. I like that. Why did you save me? The question came out more vulnerable than she intended. Cale stood, walked to the window, his broad shoulders blocking the moonlight. When he turned back, his eyes amber gold, like a wolf's held something she couldn't name. Because when I found you, I saw myself. 10 years ago, I was lost too. Someone saved me then. I'm just returning the favor to the universe. I'm dangerous, she whispered. The darkness inside me is not who you are. He crossed back to her, knelt beside the bed so they were eye level. What happened to you, Princess? Yes, I know what you were. It wasn't your fault. Love makes us vulnerable. Betrayal makes us feel broken, but you're still here. You survived. That makes you stronger than you realize. Tears she didn't know she still had the capacity to produce slid down her cheeks. I don't even remember my name. Then we'll find it together, he said. Or you can choose a new one. Names are just words. It's what's in here. He placed a hand over his heart. That defines us. If this moment touched your heart, don't forget to subscribe and leave a like. It helps us bring more stories like this one. The healing was slow, agonizing, beautiful. Each day, Cale helped her relearn who she was. Not the princess she'd been, but the woman she was becoming. They walked through mountain meadows where wildflowers grew in defiant splashes of color. He taught her his Pax meditation techniques, breathing exercises that helped her separate her own magic from the curse that poisoned it. She taught him the old language of moon spells, showed him how to read destinies in the patterns of stars. They talked, God, how they talked, about everything and nothing. His childhood as an orphan, raised by the old alpha who'd seen potential in a scrappy, angry boy. Her years studying under the Moon Sisterhood, learning to weave light into shields and hope into healing. His first battle, her first spell, his regrets, her failures. Their dreams, the ones they'd had and the ones they'd lost. I thought I was meant to be alone, Cale confessed one night as they sat on the fortress ramparts, watching meteor showers streak across the sky. My destiny was carved in blood and duty. The crimson mark, he touched the birthmark on his neck, shaped like a wolf's paw. It means I'm bound to protect the Northern Territories until death. No room for anything else. She turned to him, her hair now washed clean and gleaming silver in the starlight. She'd chosen a name finally, Luna. Simple, meaningful, hers. Destiny isn't a cage, Cale. It's a path. But paths can intersect. They can run parallel. They can even merge if both travelers are willing. He looked at her, then really looked, and she saw the exact moment he fell. It was in the softening of his eyes, the way his breath caught. The unconscious leaned toward her, as if gravity itself had shifted. Luna, he said her name like a prayer. I don't know if I can, if I should. She placed a finger on his lips. Don't decide tonight. Don't overthink. Just ... Be here, with me. That's enough. But of course, it wasn't enough. It could never be enough. Because they were falling in love, and love has never respected boundaries or prophecies or curses. Love simply is, consuming and transforming everything it touches. Their first kiss happened during a thunderstorm. Luna had been practicing reclaiming her magic, standing in the training courtyard with arms raised, trying to summon the pure light she'd once commanded effortlessly. But the curse resisted, turning her silver light dark, making her gasp with pain. She was about to collapse when Cale appeared, wrapping his arms around her from behind, his warmth and steady strength anchoring her. You're trying too hard, he murmured against her ear. Magic isn't about force, it's about flow. Like this, his own power, the primal, earth-deep energy of an alpha rose around them, not controlling, but supporting, creating a safe space where her magic could unfurl without fear, and it worked. Her light bloomed silver white, pure, untainted. She gasped, turning in his arms, eyes wide with wonder and tears. I did it. He kissed her. Couldn't help it. Had been wanting to for weeks. His lips claimed hers with a hunger that surprised them both, desperate and tender, fierce and gentle. Rain poured down around them, but they didn't notice, didn't care. The world narrowed to just this, the taste of her mouth, the feeling of her fingers threading through his hair, the way their powers intertwined, silver and crimson, moon and earth, creating something entirely new. When they finally broke apart, both breathing hard, Cale pressed his forehead to hers. I love you, he said simply. I don't know how, I don't know why, but I do. I love you more than duty, more than destiny, more than my own life. I love you too, Luna whispered, her voice breaking with the weight of it, even though I'm afraid. Even though... No. He cupped her face, made her look at him. No fear, not tonight. Tonight, we're just us. Just this. They made love under the storm, in his chambers where moonlight fought with lightning for dominance. It was not gentle. They'd both been broken too many times for gentleness, but it was real. Honest. Two wounded souls recognizing each other, choosing each other despite every reason not to. Her magic sang beneath her skin. His power answered with a growl that was more purr than threat. And for those hours, they were simply alive, simply whole, simply loved. But happiness, like spring, never lasts as long as we hope. The trouble started when a messenger arrived from the capital, a young Wolf named Sarah, her face grave. My lord, the council has summoned you. There are reports of darkness spreading from the Valewood. They need your warriors, your strength. They need you to lead. Cale's jaw tightened. He looked at Luna, who'd gone pale. The Valewood, where she'd been lost, where the darkness still festered. It's my fault, she said quietly. The curse I carry, it's been spreading, poisoning the land. I thought I was healing, but I was just hiding it. Oh gods, Cale, I've brought this to your home. Stop. He crossed to her, gripped her shoulders. This is not your fault. You're a victim, Luna, not a villain. We'll fix this, together. But Marcus, his beta, shook his head. My lord, the council was specific. You must come alone. They don't trust ... outsiders. His gaze flicked to Luna, apologetic but firm. Especially not a mage whose magic has been compromised. The words hung in the air like a death sentence. I'll go, Luna said before Cale could argue. I'll return to the Valewood. Face what I started. You lead your pack, fulfill your duty. It's what you were meant to do. Absolutely not. Cale's voice was steel. I'm not letting you walk back into that darkness alone. I won't. You have to. She took his hands, eyes fierce despite the tears. Cale, your people need you. The territories need you. I won't be the reason you abandon your purpose. I love you too much to let you sacrifice everything for me. You are my everything, he said desperately. Don't you understand? I can't lose you. Not now, not after. You won't lose me. She pulled him down, kissed him with everything she had, all her love, all her fear, all her hope. I'm stronger now because of you. You taught me that broken doesn't mean defeated. I need to face this, Cale. To truly heal, I have to confront what broke me. They argued for hours. But Luna was as stubborn as he was, and eventually, though it tore him apart, Cale agreed. He would lead his pack to defend the northern borders. She would venture into the Valewood with a small group of trusted mages he'd arranged to accompany her. They would part ways, but not forever. Never forever. Promise me, he whispered the night before they left, holding her as if memorizing every curve, every breath. Promise me you'll come back to me. I promise, she lied, because sometimes love means protecting someone from the truth you know will destroy them. Tell me in the comments what part of their story moved you the most. Your words mean more than you know. The Valewood had grown worse. Where before it had been twisted and dark, now it was actively malevolent. Trees bled black sap, the ground itself seemed to pulse with corruption, and whispers echoed through the air voices of the lost, the cursed, the forgotten. Luna's small company of mages created protective wards, but they all knew this wasn't just dark magic. This was something ancient, something that had been waiting. On the third day, they found the source. A temple, no, a shrine. Built of obsidian and bone, it pulsed with power that made Luna's curse sing in recognition. And standing before it, exactly as she'd feared, was Prince Darien. He'd changed. Or perhaps he'd simply stopped pretending to be human. His beautiful face was now marked with dark runes, his eyes entirely black, his smile sharp enough to cut. "My darling Luna," he crooned. "I knew you'd come back. You always were predictable in your nobility. What have you done?" She demanded, her magic already rising, silver light fighting the darkness in her veins. "What you helped me start," he gestured to the shrine. "The lunar veil you were meant to guard. I didn't just breach it, my love. I shattered it. And now, the ancient darkness sealed beneath, the Shadow King himself is ready to rise. He just needs one more thing." His smile widened. "Your power freely given. The final key." Luna's blood ran cold. "You planned this from the beginning. Everything, our love, my trust, the curse. The curse was insurance," Darien admitted cheerfully. "I knew you'd survive long enough to become useful again, though I didn't anticipate your little full-floored." That single quote's dot inconvenient. His expression darkened. "He's made you hope again." "That won't do." He raised his hand and the world exploded. Luna's mages tried to defend her, but Darien's power was overwhelming. He'd become something more than human, something fed by the very darkness he was trying to unleash. Luna fought back, her magic blazing silver, despite the curse fighting her every step. But she was outmatched, badly. Then she felt it, Kale, his presence, his power, rushing through their bond like wildfire. He wasn't at the borders. He'd never gone. He'd followed her, unable to let her face this alone. She felt him getting closer, felt his alpha power rising like a tidal wave, and she knew that if he arrived, Darien would kill him. The prince had become too strong, and Kale, for all his power, was still mortal. So Luna made a choice. She stopped fighting the curse, stopped resisting the darkness inside her. Instead, she embraced it, let it flood through her veins, let it consume her light. Her magic exploded outward, not silver but black shot through with desperate silver threads, a power so immense it knocked Darien back, shattered half the shrine, and created a barrier around the entire area, a barrier Kale couldn't penetrate. She felt him slamming against it, heard his roar of fury and anguish, felt him trying to break through with everything he had. But she'd used the last of her true magic to make it unbreakable, at least for a while. Long enough. "Luna," Kale's voice was raw agony. "Luna, don't do this. Whatever you're planning, don't. I love you," she called back, her voice carrying on the wind. "I love you more than light, more than life. Remember that. Remember me as I was with you, not what I'm about to become. Nitrogen monoxide." His scream shook the forest. "Luna, please, there has to be another way." But there wasn't. There never had been. She turned to Darien, who was watching with something like respect. "You want my power? Fine, take it. All of it, the light and the dark. But I'm taking you with me." Before he could react, she grabbed his wrist, letting her corrupted magic pour into him, not as a gift, but as a weapon. She channeled every ounce of the curse, the darkness, the corruption, forcing it into his body. "You wanted to free the Shadow King? Congratulations. You get to be his prison instead." Darien's scream was inhuman as the darkness turned on him, recognizing a willing host. Luna held on, even as her own body began to crumble, even as the light inside her flickered and died. She heard Cale's anguished howls, felt his desperate attempts to reach her, and she poured every last drop of her love into their bond, wanting him to know this wasn't goodbye, not really. Love doesn't end when the body fails. It transforms. It endures. I'll find you. Cale's voice reached her, broken but determined. In this life or the next, I'll find you, Luna. I swear it. She smiled, even as darkness claimed her. I know. The explosion that followed lit up the sky for miles. When it cleared, the shrine was gone. Darien was gone, and Luna ... Cale broke through the barrier moments after it fell, racing to where she'd stood. But there was nothing there. No body, no ashes. Just a crater where the shrine had been, and in its center, her moonstone pendant, no longer cracked, but whole, glowing with soft silver light. He collapsed to his knees, cradling the pendant, and for the first time in a century, the Alpha Lord wept. 3 years passed. Cale threw himself into his duties with mechanical precision. He led his pack, defended the territories, fulfilled every obligation. But those who knew him could see the truth. He was merely existing, not living. The light had gone out of his eyes. He wore Luna's pendant always, hidden beneath his shirt, a constant weight over his heart. The Veilwood had healed. The darkness was gone, sealed away properly this time. Luna's sacrifice had saved thousands of lives, perhaps millions. Ballads were written about the mage princess who'd given everything. Statues were erected. Her name became legend. But Cale didn't want legends. He wanted her laugh, her touch, her terrible jokes, her fierce spirit. He wanted mornings watching her attempt to cook breakfast and failing spectacularly. He wanted nights arguing about poetry and philosophy and whether moonlight really tasted like silver. He wanted her. On the 3rd anniversary of her death, he returned to the spot where he'd lost her. The crater had filled with wildflowers, Luna's favorites, somehow growing where nothing should. He stood there, moonstone pendant in his hand, and spoke to the night. I've kept my promise, love. I'm still here, still standing. But gods, I'm tired. If there's any mercy in this universe, any magic left that listens to prayers, ... please, I don't need eternity. Just one more day, one more hour, one more moment. The moonstone grew warm in his palm, then hot, then it blazed with light so bright he had to shield his eyes. The wildflowers began to glow, their petals lifting and swirling in a wind that came from nowhere. The air itself seemed to crack open, and through that crack poured moonlight real, liquid, silver moonlight that pooled in the crater like water. And from that light, she stepped, Luna, not a ghost, not a memory, real, solid, breathing. Her hair longer now, her eyes holding depths they hadn't before, wearing a dress that seemed woven from starlight itself. She looked at him, and her smile was sunrise after endless night. Hello, my love, she said. Sorry I'm late. Cale couldn't move. Couldn't speak. His mind couldn't process what his eyes were seeing. What his heart was screaming was true. How? He finally whispered. Turns out, Luna said, walking toward him, when you sacrifice yourself out of love rather than despair, when you choose to save rather than destroy, the universe notices. The old magic, the real magic, not the corrupted kind, it doesn't waste true light, it transforms it. I've been ... elsewhere, learning, healing, becoming something new. Not quite human, not quite mage, but something in between. A guardian of the balance. She stopped in front of him, close enough to touch, but the magic made me a deal. I could stay in that place of pure light, untouchable and eternal. Or I could come back here to the messy, complicated, beautiful mortal world. To you, tears streamed down her face. I chose you. I will always choose you. Kale pulled her into his arms with a sound that was half sob, half laugh, all relief. She was real. Solid, warm, alive. He kissed her like a man finding water after years in the desert, like a drowning man finding air, like a heart remembering how to beat. I love you, he gasped between kisses. I love you, I love you. I never stopped, I know. She held his face in her hands. I felt you, Kale, every moment. Your love was the thread that led me back. It was the light I followed home. They sank to the ground together, holding each other as if they could make up for 3 years of absence in a single embrace. Around them, the wildflowers bloomed brighter, the moon shone fuller, and the world itself seemed to exhale with satisfaction, as if reality had been holding its breath, waiting for this moment. If you believe love can conquer destiny, tap that like button and join our family beneath the moonlight. They married under the full moon, in the place where she died and been reborn. The entire pack attended, along with mages from every order, dignitaries from distant lands. But Kale and Luna barely noticed. They saw only each other. When he slipped a ring onto her finger, silver forged with moonstone, his voice shook. I vow to love you in light and darkness and life and whatever comes after. You are my mate, my equal, my everything. Luna's smile was radiant. I vow to choose you every day in every lifetime. You are my home, my heart, my hope made real. Marcus officiated, his usually stern face suspiciously wet. By the power of pack and magic, moon and earth, I declare you bound. Not even death will part what love has joined. The celebration lasted 3 days. There was dancing and feasting, stories and songs. Luna's magic had settled into something beautiful. She could still wield moonlight, but now it was tempered with warmth, accessible without pain. Kale's pack had gained not just a lady, but a guardian, someone who understood both strength and compassion, but the best moments were the quiet ones. Mornings when Kale woke to find Luna reading by the window, sunlight turning her hair to spun silver. Evenings when they walked through mountain meadows, her hand in his, talking about dreams they could finally dare to have. Nights when they made love like it was both the first and 10,000th time. Familiar and new all at once, their powers intertwining in cascades of silver and crimson light. Do you regret it? Kale asked one night as they lay tangled together, moonlight painting patterns on their skin. Coming back to this world? You gave up eternity for a mortal life with me? Luna propped herself up on one elbow, looking down at him with eyes full of stars. Kale, don't you understand? Eternity means nothing without you. I'd rather have 50 years of messy, complicated, beautiful life with you than an infinity of perfect emptiness without you. That's not even a choice. It's simple mathematics of the heart. He pulled her down for a kiss that tasted like promise and moonlight. Then we'll make every day count. Every moment. I won't waste a single second of the gift we've been given. Neither will I, she whispered against his lips. Neither will I. Years passed, beautiful, ordinary, extraordinary years. They had children, 2 daughters with Luna's silver hair and Kale's amber eyes, who could command both moon magic and wolf power with equal ease. They watched their pack grow, their territories prosper. They defended against threats and celebrated victories. They argued and laughed and loved and lived. Luna established a school for young mages, teaching them not just power but wisdom, not just magic but balance. Kale reformed the pack laws, making room for those who didn't fit traditional roles, creating a community based on choice rather than just duty. Together, they became legend, not for their individual powers, but for their partnership. The Alpha and his mage, the Lord and his lady, the wolf and the moon. But more than that, they became themselves. On their 50th anniversary, they returned to the crater that had become their sacred place. The wildflowers still bloomed, even more vibrant now. Their daughters had organized a celebration, but Kale and Luna slipped away early, wanting these moments just for them. They were older now. Silver-haired, laugh-lined, bodies marked by time and life. But when Kale looked at Luna, he saw the woman he'd found in the dark forest. And when Luna looked at Kale, she saw the man who taught her broken wasn't the same as defeated. "We did it," Luna said softly, leaning against him. "We built something beautiful. A life worth coming back for." Kale wrapped his arms around her, chin resting on her head. "We did. And you know what the best part is?" "What? We're not done yet." "We've got years still ahead of us. More memories to make, more love to give, more life to live." Luna turned in his embrace, eyes bright with tears and joy. "Then let's not waste them. Let's love each other fiercely, kindly, completely. Let's show our daughters what real partnership looks like. Let's be proof that love, real, messy, complicated love, can overcome anything, even death, even destiny, even despair." "Deal," Kale said, and kissed her as the moon rose full and silver overhead, blessing them as it always had, as it always would. Because some loves are written in the stars, some bonds transcend time and space, and some souls are simply meant to find each other, no matter how many times the darkness tries to separate them. This was that kind of love, eternal, unconquerable, true. The end, if this story touched your soul. Remember, love is the most powerful magic we possess. It transforms, heals, and conquers even the darkest nights. Whatever battles you face, whatever shadows haunt you, know that hope endures, love endures. You endure. Thank you for sharing this journey with us. If you believe in the power of love and destiny, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share your thoughts in the comments. Tell us about a time when love helped you through darkness. Your story matters. Until the next tale beneath the moonlight, keep believing, keep loving, keep choosing hope. The moon is always watching, and your own epic love story is waiting to unfold. See you in the next adventure.